The version 2.5 special broadcast just went live, and with that we've been able to obtain some new information about Phrolova's kit design. So in today's video, I'll be going over everything covered in the live stream footage about Phrolova, including the ones that you might have missed, to help you get an idea of what you should expect when she officially drops in the game. If the video proves helpful or informative in any way, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel. Let's begin with ease of playstyle. From the live stream footage, we saw that she can generate one red forte stack with basic attacks when she enters this special state that makes her basic attack button and the skill button start to glow red and blue respectively. If you press the basic attack button in this state, it generates an additional red forte stack as you can see right here. But if you press the skill button, it generates a blue forte stack. Pressing her skill gives you one blue forte stack and makes her basic attack and skill start to glow just like before. We still have no official information on which situations will influence you to generate red or blue forte stacks, but the point I'm trying to make is that the method of generating stacks is not that difficult and less forgiving compared to characters like Brent, for example, that loses DPS in case you get knocked out of the sky before he can perform a flip shot to reset his mid-air dodge attempt. For Phrolova, you can comfortably dodge since you'll be on the ground, and it's most likely that the dodge counter will actually help you generate stacks much faster since it helps most units in the game skip the initial stages of their basic attacks. So basically she can enter this state that makes her basic attack and skill glow much faster after a dodge counter. But the issue here is how long it takes to generate stacks since she needs to use basic attacks more often to get them, while other characters can get forte stacks from their intro skills. In Wuthering Waves, outro buffs usually last for 14 seconds, and you can lose it if the enemy is very aggressive, which usually interrupts your damage output. So if it's not confirmed that she has other methods of gaining forte stacks besides basic attacks and using her skill, or does not have broken levels of anti-interruption like Zani, her rotations can be a bit difficult to maintain outro buffs until she can unleash her enhanced heavy attack. Speaking of enhanced heavy attacks, let's get into her damage potential. To be able to get an idea of what kind of damage output we should be expecting from Phrolova, we first need to figure out her combat role. While the livestream footage did not mention whether she's a hybrid or main DPS, the team that they showcased with Phrolova, including Cantarella and Rocha, was more than enough to come to a reasonable conclusion that Phrolova will most likely be a hybrid character that buffs Rocha with her outro skill. Rocha will also buff Cantarella with her outro skill since Cantarella skills off basic attack damage, and finally Cantarella will also buff Phrolova to complete the cycle. In case you're not familiar with the term hybrid, they are what you end up with if you combine a dedicated main damage dealer like Camellia and a sub DPS buffer like Rocha. Examples of hybrid characters include Brent, Chun-Li, and Lupa. They are able to do decent levels of damage that can help you clear all types of content, but your damage output depends on what they provide to your team building besides the damage amplification from their outro skills. Since Chun-Li does not provide fusion buffs like Lupa and sustain capabilities like Brent, her DPS is the highest among all the units in the premium fusion team composition. Now, what does that mean for Phrolova? Usually when a character provides special utilities in their kit design, like healing, shielding, and team-wide damage buffs, it's quite common for the devs to mention it in live streams. So the fact that we did not hear anything for Phrolova besides her abilities for doing damage means that she'll be the type of hybrid character that does a lot of damage like Chun-Li, or most likely higher than Chun-Li. And here's why that is so. The premium fusion team composition is filled with hybrids that have a much higher DPS compared to Cantarella and Rocha, which makes sense because Rocha and Cantarella are sub DPS buffers but not hybrids. So to increase the team's overall damage output, it makes sense to make Phrolova slightly overpowered, even if she's a hybrid character, to compensate for the low damage output from Cantarella and Rocha as sub DPS buffers. So basically all I'm trying to say is that there is a good reason that Phrolova will most likely be the most powerful hybrid character that we've ever seen if she turns out to be a hybrid character at all. Damage AoE. Per the footage provided in the livestream, we saw that her enhanced heavy attack after gaining 6 forte stacks does damage in a large area of effect. so AoE for doing damage should not be an issue. The best thing about the team that was showcased is that Rocha can provide grouping, which is perfect for Whimpering Waste, and Cantarella can constantly freeze enemies with Hazy Dream. So as long as you have at least Cantarella or Rocha on your account, Whimpering Waste should not be an issue. Team building. The Phrolova, Cantarella, and Rocha team composition makes much sense since everyone can make use of powerful ultra buffs from one another, but there's something about Rocha and Cantarella's kit design that didn't make much sense until now. The devs did confirm that after casting Phrolova's Liberation, if a teammate casts an Echo skill, it allows Hecate to perform a powerful follow-up attack. If you take a look at this Rocha passive, it says that the tornado that you can summon with a character that receives Rocha's Ultra buff through the utility button is considered as Echo skill. The same applies to Cantarella. Her Liberation, Forte skill, and Flickering Reverie skill are all considered as Echo skills, which means that the more Echo skills that you can cast with your teammate, the more damage you get from Phrolova, in addition to the damage from the enhanced heavy attack. This will be Phrolova's best team composition, but it's understandable that you might not have Rocha and Cantarella, so prioritize Cantarella instead in the second phase if you don't have her on your account but planning on pulling for Phrolova, since Cantarella has access to more Echo skills in her kit design. Rocha can always be replaced with Sanhua. Aside from this team, it's a bit early for me to recommend teams without testing their performance, so look forward to some DPS showcases with different teams and my thoughts on them upon Phrolova's release. Build. Since Rocha buffs attack from her Liberation, it gives us a good reason to assume that Phrolova skills off attack as well, so for weapons, my best recommendations will be String Master and Whispers of Sirens. Since Phrolova can regenerate stacks by pressing her skill, it can constantly activate the second passive on String Master to gain the 24% attack buff as long as the damage from the skill cast does at least 2 instances of damage, as you can see right here with Phoebe. For Whispers of Sirens, it's difficult to determine if you can make use of the 40% basic attack damage bonus at the moment since we don't have access to her kit information, but the high crit damage pairs well with the 20% crit rate that you can get from the new Echo set. Third option will be Jeji's signature due to the large crit damage substat. While Phrolova can easily activate the basic attack damage bonus from the second part of the passive, it's still early to determine if her basic attacks used to generate the Forte stacks will scale off basic attack damage, but the high crit damage substat on a weapon makes it a viable alternative. For Echoes, you don't need to do any heavy pre-farming if you have access to unborn Echoes, which you can get from Fantasies of 1,000 Gateways. Since no character on the current roster can make use of Echo skill damage bonus, the Dream of the Lost is most likely her best Sonata effect and is a 3-piece effect. So you can get some cracked 1-cost 2-piece effect from Havoc Eclipse in the meantime to get more Havoc damage bonus for Phrolova. So based on my first impression so far, I don't think you can go wrong with pulling for her, but if you already have Camellia and planning on saving for future characters, she's still strong enough to get you through any endgame content. However, you do need to keep in mind that it's only natural if Phrolova ends up power creeping Camellia since she's an older unit. That'll be all for my first impressions and pull value analysis for Phrolova. Hope this video provided value to you, and if it did, leave a like and subscribe to help support the channel because it's free and you can always change your mind. Be sure to also join our Discord community if you're having any issues with the game or you just want a place to chill or hang out. Link will be in the pinned comments below. Catch you guys in the next one. Bye bye.